Hi, and welcome to the Kale Leadership Secrets Podcast. Today it is my honor to bring to you Rayshawn Jordan, founder of Integrity First Athletics. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kale Hauser Leadership Secrets Podcast. My name is Kale Hauser. Thank you so much for joining us today. As I had mentioned in the intro, it is my special honor and privilege to welcome an old friend, Ray Jordan. He is the founder and CEO of Integrity First Athletics, based out of the greater Dallas-Fort Worth metropolitan area in East Dallas. Ray, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to be talking to you, man.
Outstanding, man. I hope to reciprocate your energy and stuff, man.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely, man. I'm thoroughly excited as well.
Yes. And as a little background for the audience, Ray and I have known each other off and on for the last almost 20 years. We met each other when we were first in the Air Force back at Eglin Air Force Base a long time ago, when we were two very different people and under very different circumstances. And we recently had a chance to reconnect as he started his business, Integrity First Athletics. And I wanted, because his story is so amazing and what he's doing is so fantastic for his community and just at large, I wanted to make sure that he had an opportunity to bring his message to you, this audience, and my audience here with the Leadership Secrets podcast. So, Ray, tell us about your story about Integrity First Athletics. You know, the how, the why. Like, what makes you want to get up every morning and do Integrity First Athletics?
Yes. Yeah, no problem. So, Integrity First Athletics, we're a nonprofit, federally exempt 501c3 status. We've been that way for 2020. And in short, our mission, we coach, we train, we tutor, we do whatever it takes to get young men and young women scholarships, and we do it all for free. For the most part, a lot of our demographics is centered down to low income areas, mid to low income areas, essentially around Forney, some around Terrell areas. And my motivation for doing this is that there's a lot of young men and young women that need help getting scholarships. Now, I've had I've had the opportunity to play in multiple levels of football, um, from high school to college. I did 1 year practice squad, so in the pros. But the message that we send within Integrity First is that you are student first within student athlete. And the young men and young women that's within our program, they are probably and I just want to touch on a couple of their stories.
Yes.
They don't come from the best environments and circumstances. And if you do your due diligence on how much it costs to get a privatized trainer for, let's just say, for instance, if you have a quarterback or something, and they want to get a scholarship, so you're going to have to get the privatized training outside of high school or outside of middle school. Those training sessions could come around 80 to 90K a session. Sometimes some parents pay $400, $500 a month. And if you have the young men and young women that I support and I serve within the low income areas, they can't afford that.
Right.
They simply can't afford that. But the
Yeah.
motivation and the work ethic is there. So that's where I come in. If I see a young man that's up there that's working hard, I'm obliged. I'm literally obliged to help him out. If I see a young woman that's literally saying, hey, I've got to up there and get a scholarship because my parents, they can't pay for it. Matter of fact, my parents didn't even go to college. So in which case, insert me, I have to help them out. Uh, and I feel like I've been put in this position to literally help these young men and young women, mainly because of the life that I've had. Because when I came from a single parent home, low income, resident area in New Orleans, couldn't afford the cleats, couldn't afford the gloves, couldn't afford a lot of things and stuff, man, that would be nice to have,
Yeah.
and
All the
it was
passion was there. Yeah.
right,
The
right,
desire and
right.
passion. And yeah.
Right. But yes, and my passion was there, my work ethic was there, man. And not to give this guy free pub, but Malcolm Gladwell's book Outliers, and it's something, especially the premise of 10,000 hours. I've had 10,000 hours because I wanted to live and bask in my craft. And my craft, essentially, especially with football, it helped me become the man that I am today. And that's exactly the same thing what I'm doing for my student athletes. And all of our student athletes, that's why it's a requirement to read that book because they got to put in 10,000 hours.
Nice.
But yeah, for the most part, that's integrity first. Athletics, especially in a nutshell, man. That's
Right.
essentially how we started, and that's my passion. That's my motivation. Hmm.
I love it. I love it. Now let's back up just a little bit because, like I
Okay.
kind of introed, we knew each other in the Air Force and then kind of went our separate ways, and here we are coming back. What was your journey like since getting out of the Air Force to now? Because it's been several years that you've been a veteran,
Yes.
and so were there things that you now in hindsight see that set you up for this as part of that? Whatever you did
Oh,
at that
yes,
time.
man.
Can you talk to us about that?
Yes, I'd have to go back even prior to us knowing each other.
Okay.
So prior to me even joining the Air Force, I was kicked out of college. I've had a 16 on the ACT, man, and my mindset was football or nothing. And for me joining the Air Force, I needed that discipline. 17 being 17, you think that you know the world. Like really,
Yeah.
man. You really think you
Yeah.
know the world. But in
Got
turn,
it
like,
figured
man,
out.
I didn't know anything. So
Right.
I needed the Air Force. I needed those core values. I needed, i.e., integrity first, pun intended, and stuff, man. I
I
needed
love it.
service before self. I needed excellence in all I do. So, uh, during my career, especially in the Air Force, I learned that for 3 years, 9 months, they let me out early because I received a scholarship from Texas Southern University, which is how I came to Texas.
Nice.
And I've always had that disgusted feeling of being thrown out of college. I made sure that was not going to happen the second time. And that was when I was awarded with my first degree within mass communications from Texas Southern. Then that's when I got into the realm of, and still dabbing in football because I played for Texas Southern.
Okay.
But after Texas Southern, did the practice squad deal, especially for that. But obviously, as a pro, certain things especially don't pan out, mainly because it's a statistics game.
Right.
And being an undrafted free agent is like, okay, yeah, I think I've had my fill of ball.
Right.
Whether it be injuries, whether it be just, hey man, am I gonna get picked up for this training camp, or is it gonna be, am I gonna get a chance for this workout or something like that, man? So let's just say real life happened really quick. But glad I got my degree. So this puts me around 2007, 2008. That's when I started getting into defense contracting. And I'm still involved in defense contracting. That's why I'm a major contributor for a lot of the things that we do for Integrity First is being free. But that my first stint was with L3 Communications. My second stint with defense contracting was with Raytheon. I can't disclose who I'm with now because obviously, obvious
Yeah.
reasons, stuff,
Yeah.
man. But being in the defense industry, it showed me a lot of lessons that I've learned in the Air Force, as well as it kind of jettisoned me towards integrity first. So
Okay.
a lot of the young men that I were helping, it was these senior managers and these executive directors. It was like, hey man, football. Can you help my son out?
Oh, right. Right.
Can you help
Yeah.
me do this and stuff? I was like, oh yeah, man, sure. Because obviously, and these guys could afford it. They could afford the $400 something a month.
Yeah.
But yeah, so during that time, which this places us around 2012, 2013, I've had a major setback, and that's when I lost my mom. And
Oh, yeah.
I, and dad, man, and it still hurts. But
Yeah.
I do remember it was a calling, especially on my life, right then and there, to say that I have got to do something impactful because I was always helping, one or two guys out or some players and stuff like that, man. Little workout sessions here and there and things and stuff like that, man. But it wasn't until her passing that and we closed on a house in Forney, and that's the reason why I'm saying all this stuff because it's going to mean something at the end.
Right.
We,
It's all
we
right.
closed we closed on my first house out in Forney, Forney, Texas, which is east of the Metroplex. Me and my wife, and I, I had to get out and do something, man. I had to basically pick myself up because it was leaning more towards a depression state and stuff. And I'm a man of faith, and I was very confused at what God was trying to do for me. And when I signed up, especially for with Anytime Fitness, it wasn't. I would say at least about a good 2 weeks because me and the owner we just hit it off, man. He's a big sports fan, big enthusiast, and all that kind of stuff, or whatever, man. So we just hit it off. We just became really, really, really good friends. Who's on our
Nice.
board right now? And when he came to me, he brought a kid. I will never forget his name, Michael Alvarado. And he was a small, small, small young man. Man, he was a sophomore at the time. I would say he was probably like 5'7",
It's not
130
that
something.
small. I'm five
Well,
six.
well, right, right. Well, in the football world,
Yeah.
especially out here in Texas, man. Like, yeah,
Right.
um, right. But for the most part, and this kid right here, man. Once you met him, when I met him, I just you fell in love with his motivation. You fell in love with his work ethic because he was there, and the first thing that was out his mouth, he was like, "I'm tired of riding the bench." Like just like that, I'm tired of riding the bench. I'm tired of just being laughed at. I'm tired of just essentially, I would just say paraphrase, a waste his time. And he
Right.
knows that he is good at this sport, and he knows that he has to work at it, and he loves to just work at it, and he just wants a chance and opportunity. And for that right there, man, it was motivating enough to say I have to help this young man out. I literally have to help him, man. And then, of course, it major improvements on the field, major improvements from what he's done with his coaches. And then next thing you know, Michael, tells a friend or two, and then from that friend or two, tells another friend or two. And then eventually it was like the coaches up there see it exactly too and stuff, man. And they were just so amazed to say, like, wow, you're doing all this stuff for free. And it jettisoned to me in North Forney, their football team have like this thing called a mentorship program. So they asked me to especially to be a part of that. And eventually we just it just laid the foundation to what we are, especially right now. So fast forward from 2014 2017, just about all those guys up there, they graduated. A new coach comes in, and it's a whole nother thing and stuff. And then in which case, I still wanted to do it, and let's just say I wanted to do more. I wanted to just do more than just football. I wanted to do more than just train. You see, so that's when Brian he encouraged me to, well, let's up there and turn it into a nonprofit, man, and I'll join your board. He just up there saying like, yeah, it just when you talk with friends and you just
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm saying, just throwing stuff
Yeah.
on the wall. And I really started to research it. I really started to see exactly like, okay, how is this and how it's going to work? And then in comparison to other nonprofits and how they're doing, because if you really notice, no one's really doing the things and stuff that we, first off, yeah, nobody want to up there and do everything that we do for free, for one.
Yeah.
you know, and then
Yeah.
the most part that they are doing it and stuff, it's like these little league, teams and stuff, man. And for the most part, you're paying an exorbitant amount of money. you know. So
It's big business, right?
yes,
Especially in the Dallas area. I mean, it's like one of the football meccas of the world
yes,
for high
it
school. Yeah.
definitely is. I would say all of Texas, to be honest with you,
Right. Yeah.
all throughout the triangle. Triangle meaning Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio
Houston.
and stuff,
Yeah,
man. So,
definitely.
but yeah, for the most part, that's what led me to go back and go get my graduate degree, learn government finance, and then it also helped me within the defense career that I have, because I can double dip and understand, both sides of the lane, but it's still the same. It's still, government finance, still government finance. Cage codes is
Yeah.
still cage codes and all that good stuff, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And for the most part, once I started up there and learning that, I started to recruit a board. Everyone up there and seen my vision, especially the people at work, the coworkers, because, and the reason why I said defense industry was because that's about 90% of my board right now. There's 90% of the individuals that's like, man, we see you, Ray. We see how you are with these the student athletes, these boys and these girls, man. You know, you got a gift, you got a talent. You just,
Yeah.
yeah, we want to help you out and stuff, man. And from there on, and I'm fast forwarding from me actually graduating because I graduated in 2020,
With
which
the
in the heart of
masters, which is
COVID, right, in the heart of COVID, yeah, because I received my graduate degree in the mail. I still never got hooded because obviously COVID.
oh man,
Yeah, man. But I got
that's
the
a
pictures and
bummer.
all that kind of stuff to say, like, you know, hey, we wish you could, and all that kind of stuff, you know,
Right,
6 feet
right,
apart,
yeah.
you know, which was great on my professors, and I loved them. And I got to shout them out, man, to UNT Dallas. Yeah, the
Nice.
public administration program, man, they are absolutely phenomenal. They taught me a lot of things, especially government finance, as well as especially the nonprofit sector, administrative sectors, and all that good stuff, man. So, but yeah, in 2020, we started with three young men, and these three young men, they didn't come from the best environments and stuff, man. One in particular, he's crashing on his auntie couch. Um, he's lost. He really was trying to up there and find himself, man. It's just a bad situation for him. You know, he has to handle with the cards that he's dealt with, but he knows that he wants to go to college on scholarship for football. And this young man, I kid you not, man, is probably one of the most, how can I put this, man? He's probably the most driven out of all of even the ones and stuff that I have right now. And don't be wrong, I got some young men and young women that's like that really, really, really gets after it. You know, I'm talking about really get after it. But this young man, and given his situation, he's probably the most driven because he could have simply gave up like years ago. You know, circumstances, every kind of stuff is just stacked against him. He could have just easily like, you know, this ain't working out. I got 50 million other problems. I got to take care of my little brother, my little sister, and then I got to help my auntie out and stuff, man. And nah, he still holds on to that dream. He still holds on to making that happen. So I've got to say, like, man, and it's those kind of stories that keep me going and keep, you know, for me running this organization. And then once I tell people about it and stuff, man, they up there and see it, and it's like, well, first off, the first question is, wait, free training, free tutoring, what's the catch? It's like, man, it's like, literally,
Right.
man, yeah, it's no catch. Because for me to go out there and then train with these young men, I guess I could say I'm living vicariously through them.
Yeah,
It's like,
sure.
man, you know,
Yeah.
and then for the most part, it helps me rectify my mistakes when I was like 17, or
Right.
their age for the most part.
Right.
And then for my wife, because my wife, she has a passion of tutoring, and she's our executive director. She's over the tutoring.
Nice.
And then she's more than a tutoring. She's more of a counselor to them and stuff because we hunt for academic grants. We go get them those ACT, SAT prep materials, all that good stuff, man. So we're a tag team at it and stuff, and
Nice.
we wouldn't be as far as we could as an organization if we wasn't, you know, firing off on all cylinders with me and her. And then granted the rest of the staff too and stuff, man. But I would say it ends and begins with me and her. So but yeah, man, that's the timeline, especially that got us up
Right.
today and stuff. So
Yeah.
mhm.
So you've been an official, not official, recognized nonprofit since 2020, right?
Yes.
Is the stamp on the certificate?
Well, STEM certificate says 2018 because that's when I filed.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
so, man. But yeah,
Well,
and
that is
unofficially, I've been helping young men since 20. I think it was 2013 on 2014.
2013.
It was
Wow.
around then, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been doing this for quite a while, man.
Yeah, there's so much. First of all, congratulations. That is amazing to hear. I mean, and you can hear it in your voice as you're talking about it, the passion. It gave actually a little bit of chills just kind of listen to you speak about this. And then, we can, although we can't all relate to the situation of the student athletes that you find and those experiences that they're having and hardships they're having, we can all kind of empathize with that and understand that struggle. And and you just automatically, you're like, man, if they can only just get that shot, right? If they only have that
Right.
one guy that can come into their life and show them that, no, you don't have to succumb to all these hardships and these circumstances. There is, there's hope and there's a path that if you choose to take it and work for it, there's no reason that you can't be successful. And
Right.
it's amazing. You're that guy that's filling that gap for them. And
Mhm.
I don't know how many people tell you this every day, but thank you for doing that for your community and for those young men. That's phenomenal.
Oh
Um,
yes, definitely, definitely, man. Yeah.
uh, so and I just thought it was so interesting about you living vicariously, because that's right. That's one of the side kind of non-tangible benefits that these become your teenage daughters and sons, that you kind of get to, the proverbial little league parent that's, they're just, all stoked up for them and stuff too. So that's pretty legit that
Right,
you get
right.
to do that.
Because actually, man, I got two of them here this weekend, and it just I could touch on a little bit of some of their stories, man. Some of them,
Yeah.
you go into their house, man, there's nothing in the pantry. You look up in the refrigerator, it's like two eggs, probably spoiled milk, and it's just a bad situation up there to be in. And then for the most part, that's why me and my wife, we grab them on weekends, and yeah, they just spend the weekends with us. And granted, it's 20 of them, and for the most
Right.
part, you hate that they have to be in that. Does that make sense? Because
Absolutely.
they didn't choose that,
Right.
and there's no shot to their parents and that stuff, whatever, man, whatever it may be. But for the most part, it's easy for them to succumb to being a product of their environment. It's really, really, really easy, man. And if I could up there and pull them away, at least for a weekend, for some of them it may be even longer than that and stuff or whatever, especially during the summer. But if I could pull them away from that, then I don't have to worry about them messing around, especially with drugs or even alcohol or a teenage pregnancy or anything and stuff like that. Because every last one of the young men that I have, it's an interpersonal relationship that I have with them. And granted, it's always a big brother in a sense, especially when they up there and they talk to me, or even with my wife and stuff like that, man. Because it everything that we go through is well beyond ball. It's more along the lines of what are you going to do after you're done playing ball.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing is because this sport it ends. It literally it ends. It
And
ends.
it could end,
Yeah,
with an
just
injury,
like that.
just
Literally,
boom.
just like
Yeah.
that. And that's why we preach the student athlete, student first, more along the lines of you have to make the most of your opportunities, especially for when sport ends. Because for the time, man, it catches up to everyone. It
Yes,
really
it
does.
does. Yeah.
And
And
for
and that was something I was gonna just kind of recognize, that because you had said this too about focusing on the ACT scores and the SAT
right,
scores, because obviously you can be the most phenomenal college or high school ball player, this just amazingly gifted athlete, and you've got the matching motivation and drive and all that. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter how good you are if somebody just breaks your leg, in the middle
right.
of the play, and you're out and you're done. And the ability to, now you had mentioned, and I think I understood you correctly, you go after first the academic scholarships before the
Yes,
athletic ones. Okay.
sure do. Yes.
Is there a reason beyond what you just said? Like, are they easier to get? Are there more opportunities for that? Like, what's the reasoning behind that?
So here's the thing, man. Here's the dark side of college sports, particularly
Okay.
big time college sports within the Power Fives. So I've been I've been in situations where I've seen these coaches and these recruiting coordinators, they will recruit a kid and they will sit on the parents' couch and say, "Hey, we'll say everything, whatever they need up under the sun and all that good stuff, man." And when they recruit the young man to come play college football for them at whatever university or whatever it may be, they easily put them up under a degree plan so they can make sure that they are eligible come Saturday night. And that degree plan is not going to help them after they're done playing football. Do you catch my drift?
Gotcha.
You
Yes.
see,
Yes.
they probably end up being worse off before they even went because with general studies in basket weaving or whatever it may be. If I
Right.
out
Yeah.
there come back, especially with basket, where I'm going to work at, you see.
Right.
So the what we do strategically, we go after the academic grants first because when that coach sit on our players' couches, they know that they're dealing with a player with substance. So they're doctors, they're lawyers, they're engineers. They just so happen to be good at ball. Does that make
I
sense?
love it. Yeah.
Right. That's why we preach being a student first because there's a lot of young men, unfortunately, that goes out to these colleges and they end up being worse off than what they were before they left home, man. And that won't happen to any of our players.
Because what is, and I think I've heard a stat in passing, what is the percentage of college graduate athletes that make it to pro level? I mean, it's tiny, right?
It's pretty high now because
Is it?
you
Okay.
you giving these guys meaningless degrees.
Right.
I mean, I kid you not, man. It's very much known to say like, all right, hey, here's your lesson for this week. What animal is this? Something like, like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like
that's
goodness gracious, man. And granted,
that's
hey, they're all football players, right? They're not everybody's a rocket scientist in the locker room. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
But
Well, that
yeah,
brings
man, it's just more along the lines, especially for college. College is meant for you to increase your level of education, man. It's essentially there to, it's supposed to help you up there and get a job to support your family and stuff. I
right.
think since now with, college sports and, it's lucrative as a lot of these sports organizations are within the Power Five conferences, they lose sight of what the initial reasoning of being a student athlete is, and that's essentially is to get your bachelor's degree in 4 years, no longer, because you got a lot of
Yes.
student athletes that'll only be up there for 12 hours, and then
Right.
by the time their senior year or supposedly their senior year, they still have 30 hours left. Like, come
Yeah.
on, man, what have you been doing this
Yeah.
whole time?
Right. Now that brings up an interesting. How do you take a young man or a young woman who's grown up, before they met you, and they've grown up in that environment, and probably, I'm making an assumption here, but probably the academic side of things weren't high priority, right?
Oh
It's
yeah.
most middle schoolers don't have a high priority on that, right? Those are kind of the outliers. How do
Right,
you
right,
take
right.
somebody with that mentality and they love football or soccer, the other athletics programs that you get involved in? How do you turn them into a student athlete when their sole focus and their, what they see as their salvation of getting out of their situation has been the athletic side? And you're
Right.
now convincing them that no, like, yes, that's important, but this is way more important on this side.
Right, right, right. It's different from each class. I would say you have to stratify it from what it is and what their environment and all that kind of stuff. So let's just say,
Okay.
for instance, you get one young man, and the purpose of me answering the question, let's just say you get one young man from a single parent household. Parents never went to college. They don't know the first thing about getting a collegiate scholarship because they never went to college.
Yeah.
So all that young man knows is that he wants to get education. He wants to go and play football in college. Eventually, they probably want to go to the league. And the mama is up, yes, that's my baby. He's going to up there and do that. Well,
Yeah.
insert us. First off, that's why we have them read Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers, because it's 10,000 hours. This is your first wife. And your first wife is going to be you being married to these books in the classroom. It's going to be you being married to these weights in the weight room. It's going to be you being married to that football on the field. You don't have a life. You don't got 2K. You don't have PlayStations. You don't have Call of Duty. You don't have all that stuff or whatever, man. I ask these young men to grow up quick. Now, when we recruit a student athlete, we only really go after the eighth graders and up stuff, man, because that's a lot on a seventh grader and a sixth grader and stuff, man. Let them be kids. You
Yeah.
see, but by the time and stuff, man, that you're in the eighth grade, I tell them your childhood's gone, man. It is gone. I hope you enjoyed it and stuff, but now it's time to prepare you for the last half of school, and you're starting to entering work life and stuff, man. So And you know, we're a perfect guinea pig for that because a lot of kids they realize like, man, I thought I wanted to play ball, I really don't want to play and stuff. Usually that happens at the camps, the collegiate camps that we participate in. They see some of these guys out from middle of nowhere, Mississippi, that's 6'5", 290, running a 4.4 or something, and literally destroying things with like 20 offers from a whole bunch of D1 schools. And they're like, yeah, I'm not going against one-on-ones in that. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, yeah. So, but for the most part, man, that's what we do. We put them through, especially starting with outliers, and then we aggressively train them, especially in the weight room. And I use aggressive loosely because you
Yeah.
got to have the mindset to love the grind. You see, because it's not going to be strenuous if you love it. It's not going to be how can I put this, man? It's not going to be a chore because a lot of folks and stuff that look at it right now, even grown folks and stuff, man, when they look at going to the gym, it's like, oh, it's a chore. Do I want to go work out today? You know, like a real man. But for these young men, it's more on the lines of they're already motivated because they don't like the family environment that they have at home. Some of these guys and stuff, and he was just telling me the other day, man, he's like, man, I'm just tired of seeing my mama cry. You know, I'm tired of just going up in the house and maybe the lights on, maybe it's not. You know, I'm tired up there and looking in the pantry, ain't nothing in there. You know, and I'm tired up there and having to live in this studio apartment with just my mom and my brothers and sisters. You know, and right there is just more than enough motivation alone for them to make something happen. My job, they can't even really afford a PlayStation 5 and stuff or whatever.
Right. Right.
And they don't really care about having the cool gray Jordans and what these what Balenciagas and things and stuff, whatever it may be
Yeah.
and stuff, man. They look at it and saying like, nah, I'm tired of my family struggling, and I know that I can make something happen within this sport. And sometimes it's not for them to say that they want to go to a big time D1 school. They don't, it's not necessarily to say that they got to go to Alabama's or the LSU's or you know Mississippi State's or whatever it may be. They just want up there and like as long as I go up there and get a ride to UNT or University of Houston or you
Yeah.
know just a college, just give me that deal, that opportunity and stuff, man. So I can up there and hurry up and knock this degree out, and I can come back and help my family. You see, and
It's
that kind
awesome.
of work ethic,
Yeah.
you know, and some of these young men, man, they have to grow up quick. Like really, they have to grow up quick, and it's not because of us. It's because of the circumstances that they're in. You know, all we do is we just help them out. We just calculate their direction a little bit more, make them, you know what I'm saying? So,
You're providing that influence and stability to show them the way to grow up because they're going to grow up one way
right.
or another, and you're giving them that at least a pathway and a vision to be able to see there is something else that you can achieve and go with. That's pretty awesome, man.
Right. Appreciate it.
I did want to ask as we're going down this road. So, what is your long term vision for IFA, for Integrity First Athletics? Like, do you have certain goals or milestones you're trying to reach? Is it just have you thought about that at all? I'm
Oh
I'm
yeah,
assuming that
I'm
you have. Yeah.
definitely, man, definitely. My goal become the biggest nonprofit in the state of Texas. We do that by capturing the triangle. The triangle, I think, what I alluded to earlier. Dallas, Houston, San Antonio. And we want to be able to support all sports. Now, granted, yeah, I can only do so much, and I great good intentions can only do so much, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
Exactly.
why, yeah, we're on the hunt for these grants. We're on the hunt for
Okay.
donations and all that good stuff, man. It is not so much as monetary neither, man. Shoot, I take some protein packs. You know, these boys right here, some football gloves
Right.
and stuff, whatever it may be.
Right.
We'll use any and everything and stuff, man, that we can get. But for the goal is that I want to be able to help every student athlete that wants help to get a scholarship. You know, and essentially, at least my milestone, currently our milestone right now, especially, the east of the Metroplex of Dallas. Um, and once we up there and we capture that, then, of course we move. towards the Metroplex. And then once we up there and capture a significant amount from the Metroplex, then we moved to San Antonio, then we moved to Houston and stuff. And then if you look at the map, it's basically a triangle. For 35 that goes all the way down to San Antonio, then I-10 between San Antonio to Houston, and then I-45 that leads it back up here. Like it's just the triangle. And that's our strategy. Capture the triangle and then everything in between. And that will lead us to become one of the biggest nonprofits in the state of Texas.
Yep. Wow. That is a phenomenally awesome, audacious goal, and I love it. That's because that's the only way to do it.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that is really cool. So as we switch gears just a little bit here, well, actually, because while we're on that, you talked about donations. What's the best way for people if they're like, man, I've got to get involved in this, and I need to, like you said, even if it's equipment or protein powder, all those types of things that young men and women need to do their craft. How do they get that to you?
Oh yeah, so especially during through the website. So through our website, I think it's the donations tab, especially within that, man, or the career for inquiries, integrityfirstathletics.org. You'll see the tab, especially within that, man. And then of course, protein, all that good stuff, or whatever it may be and stuff, man. We have what was it called Amazon Smiles, I think it is.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Amazon, yeah, because they have that set up for that, yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely set up for that.
Oh, cool.
And then what the wish list, I think it's called or something, man.
I will make sure and get links to that as well. I hadn't thought about the Amazon Smile. So there will be a link in the description of whatever you're listening to this on YouTube or podcast to be able to do that.
Yeah, definitely, man. Cool. But for the most part, like, and then we're also, I think GuideStar, Benevity, those are all nonprofit platforms and things and stuff too. A lot of Fortune 500s, they love us, they love the mission. Mainly because obviously, hey man, they're doing it all for free and all that good stuff. So they do company matches and things and stuff like that. So, nice. Check out whatever company and things and stuff that you work for. More than likely, we're probably on it. If not, let us know because we will easily up there and get on it. A lot of platforms use GuideStar and Benevity, and oh man, I feel like I'm missing another one, but we're on a lot of them for company matches. A lot of them on company matches. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. All right. So now, because you do a whole person concept with your student athletes, and a lot of that is just life training, right? Becoming a young man, becoming a young woman, and all those things that you deal with. Because I think I saw a post that you did something about financial literacy. And
yes.
It's so critical and so ignored.
Yes.
How does because this is a leadership podcast? How does that aspect of things come into it? Do you talk about that specifically at all? Or is it more just kind of inherent in the overall attitude and kind of feel that you guys do with your trainings?
Yes. For the most part, it's a little bit of both. So I got to preface it more on the lines of, so in the world of college football, actually just college sports, period. I think you're familiar with NIL deals and all that good stuff, right?
Right.
Okay. So yeah, you can get payment for branding, imaging, all that good stuff, man. What we do, especially as an organization, some of the players, they have their own merchandise in the store. So they can sell their own shirts and all that good stuff, whatever it may be. That's where the financial literacy come into play at, because the money that they receive, we don't want them to blow it on Xbox games. What I'm saying?
Yeah.
Xbox games and cool gray Jordans and
Jordans,
man. Right. So it's like, hero, even though you get that scholarship, you're still gonna have college expenses. So let's go ahead and read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Right.
Love it.
Little Dave Ramsey here and there and all that good stuff, man. So yeah, we just echo those deals and those principles. I think the last deal we watched the whole deal of Money on Netflix. I think that's what it was called. But it was a short series, especially within that, and we watched all those episodes together. I think actually today they've had and we call it Beyond the Classroom Learning. They had a Beyond the Classroom session learning today. I think it was financial literacy. I'm pretty sure it was. If not, it may have been writing and stuff, man. But yeah, we teach financial literacy mainly because there's a lot of capital that's associated with this sport. A lot of capital. And the last thing that we want them to do is blow it. You know, like yeah, or it become in debt for, living way beyond their means and stuff, man.
Because it happens every day to
Yes, yes,
especially the
exactly.
younger professional athletes. They get picked up, whether it be NBA or any of those, and they think they're going to have this Charles Barkley career for the next however many years. Then all of a sudden, they're
Right,
gone, they're over, and yeah, you still
right.
can't buy Lamborghinis when you're unemployed, kind of
Right,
thing.
right, right. And for the most part, that's another thing too, man. Because we don't preach the league. We really just don't preach the league, man. We're not dream killers now. A lot of them and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
they
yeah.
have that. Yeah, but we don't preach that. Our strategy, and for that's the reason why we do student first, we get all our boys in concurrent enrollment, or we at least try to get more of them and stuff. I think about 60, 70% of them is in current concurrent enrollment. I would say 20% of them are ranked within the top 50. One special one who probably the jewel of my eye and stuff, man. Caleb in particular, he's seventh in his class of 2025. So our strategy is to do concurrent enrollment, which they'll earn their associate's degree while in high school. So when they walk across the stage, they only have what 30, 40 semester hours left before they get a bachelor's degree. So
Right.
if you do the numbers game, especially then within college football and scholarships and all that good stuff, usually you get one red shirt year and then four eligible years. So total of five. Now, as soon as you get that, 30 semester hours, give or take,
Right.
or something like that, or 40 semester hours, give or take, or something. 'Cause I think you got associate degree at 80, right? So average degree is about 120. So 120, 40 hours, you can knock that out in about a year. Let's just say 2 semesters, spring, fall, and in the summer, you can knock it out. So guess what? First year of college, you walk across the stage, you got your bachelor's. Guess what? You still can play football. So you can go get your master's.
Yeah.
In that master's, most master's degree programs, thesis, non-thesis and stuff, you're looking at about 36 hours, semester hours and stuff. You can knock that out within another year and stuff, man. 3 years of eligibility left. So guess what? You go get another master's, second master's. And guess what? No loans are Sally Mae. Stuff, man. So that second master's, probably by the age of, I think you're about 21, leading up to 22 and stuff, man. 2 years left. So maybe you can go get that doctoral, whatever it may be and stuff, man. But still, you got options and stuff, man. But let's just say, for instance, you're in a position to say, like, all right, maybe I do want to go on Sundays. I got my 2 master's degrees and stuff, man, from college, and I don't have any student loans. And guess what? I'm an engineer, so I know the job market is going to be pretty well received by me and stuff, right? So guess what? I don't really have to go to the league if I don't want to, and I still got these 2 years of eligibility left if I still want to up there and make a case to go to the league. But for the
Right.
most part, I don't need football. You see?
It's a good plan. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real, man. Like that's the thing about it. And then for the most part, what a lot of us, especially as Americans, say, man, they did it without any student loans. You see,
That
we
is
only use
that's huge.
football as a conduit. And as that conduit and stuff to get us where we want to go, we want to exploit that sport just as much as exploit us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
love it.
mm-hmm.
Wow. That hearing you say that, and I'm like, man, where were you when I was in? I mean, not that I was ever good at football or anything, but
Right.
like, you know what I mean? You're like, this is a mission and that you have to get out, that you have
Right,
to
right,
expand, and you have to, because people don't know and understand that there are options.
right,
There are options, especially when you come from an environment that it sounds like most of your student athletes come from. They don't know what they don't know, right? And
right.
to have
Exactly.
have somebody like you that is willing to make those sacrifices and invite them into your home and become part of their lives and open their eyes to what they don't know is incredible. Yeah.
Right, right,
Um,
right, man.
so now, because I asked this of all my guests, and I know it's kind of off topic a little bit, but I want to, and you can, whether in the context of how you run your program or even just in your experience as a contractor, a government contractor. Your view on the difference between a manager and a leader in an organizational sense. Do you have any specifics on that? No wrong answers. It's purely just kind of your take on it.
Yes, definitely and stuff, man. Because I we went through extensively this in grad school, man, and then of course,
Okay.
I deal with it day to day, especially with my current career now. Um, Managerial, you're more of you're appeasing. How can I put this, man? You're a counter, man. You're a counter. You manage the budgets. You sign everything by the book. You're a textbook. You're doing everything that, yeah, you're just you're a cog in the wheel, man. That's literally what it boils
Yeah.
down to, man. You're a cog in the wheel, being a manager, and for the most part, there's very good cogs in the wheel. There's very good managers out there. Um, Me personally, especially my leadership approach, because I've elevated my career, especially in the defense contracting standpoint, that I am senior leadership, and even in the nonprofit sector, because even within our staff, and even with the boys and volunteers and things and stuff that we have to support us, I'd like for them to see the leader in me and not see another cog in the wheel. Because especially in my position, if I was to take the manager, it would be more along the lines of, hey, stick to your talking points, stick to this, and go by your budgets and only that and stuff. There's no gray areas. It's more of a quantitative approach. And that doesn't do anyone any good, especially for the ones that your team that you manages, and the folks and stuff that look to you towards guidance and all that good stuff. And perfect segue to what a leader is. And I just don't want to say like, hey, and a leader does that. For what a leader is essentially the young man and the young woman that runs through the fire first. They're the ones and stuff, man, that's saying, hey, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to get this done. I hope that y'all come along with me to make this happen. It begins and ends with the leader. It's more on the lines of making sure that, okay, I'm not going to go over my budget because, yeah, you be slapped a couple of times, especially within that, and get chewed out a lot. But
Right.
you make the most out of a lot of things from a qualitative approach.
Okay.
Let's say, for example, you got um, one or two direct reports, and a lot of their challenges is, towards like building a resume or something, man. Well, I'm going to personally allot a budget or allot funding for them to build their resume, i.e., certain deals in training or some certifications or something, whatever it may take to up there and build that resume. Now, granted, a lot of folks get a lot of heartburn because, especially if they're building a resume, that means they're going to be looking for another job. And then, granted, it's hard to backfill, all that kind of stuff. Well, me as being a good leader, I feel that, yeah, I can build enough resume and build another team to up there and then backfill that spot. But for the most part, I have to earn the trust of my direct reports and those individuals, because if I've done pretty good by them, then they're not going to up there and want to leave. You see, and if they do leave, hey man, that's great to put them in position to say like, hey, I've cultivated that
Right.
next senior leader. You see,
Nice.
like that's
Yep.
the thing about it. That's literally what it boils down to, man. I'm management. I'm sorry to say, you're a bean counter. But yeah, for especially there being a leader, yeah, and personally me, I tend to fold more towards the leadership side. And yeah, this that's the perfect illustration, at least in my eyes.
Yeah. No, I would be hard pressed to find anything to disagree with what you said there. Yeah, managers, same thing. I kind of view as very transactional, right? They have a specific tasks or duties, and they're in charge of getting those things done.
Right,
And I
right,
like that. Into the fire first. I like that with
right.
your leader explanation. So, and I do want to say, I think you are the perfect leader for especially what you're doing right now. Obviously, I don't know too much about the other side of things that you do, but with Integrity First Athletics, I think they couldn't find a better person or a better personality or somebody with a better background or anything other than what you've got and what you're bringing excuse me bringing to the table. So congratulations, that's
Uh,
phenomenal.
yeah, definitely, man. Appreciate that, man. Definitely
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Now you'd mentioned the website integrityfirstathletics.org.
Yes, sir.
How else? What are other good platforms? I'm assuming that you've got social media accounts set up. What are other good platforms for people to get into
Yes.
your world?
Athletic First on Twitter, and then Integrity First Athletics One on IG, and then Facebook is still just Integrity First Athletics, and the same thing applies to YouTube things and stuff too.
Okay,
Um,
perfect.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I will have links to all of those accounts on the description again. So make sure you give Jordan and his crew some follows so you can keep in touch with what he's doing, because I think there's going to be some pretty amazing things in the near future for Integrity First Athletics.
Oh
All
yeah,
right,
man. Keep
man.
bringing the hoping
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you have coming up? Tell me kind of as we wrap this up a little bit. Do you have any big projects coming up? Anything you want to make sure my audience is very much aware of? Like what's your parting comments?
Yes. So obviously, yeah, the love and support, especially there for the organization, we would definitely appreciate that immensely. Some of the big projects and stuff that we have coming up, we're still strengthening our women's division. So yeah, we can use a lot of help and support, especially within that. The boys decided that they want to join within the 7-on-7, the pylon tournaments, and obviously the pylon within the 7-on-7 world is like top of the line. So
Okay.
that's when you get the chance and the opportunity to compete against other 4 stars and 5 stars across the nation. So we're rallying our resources to give our boys the opportunity to up there and do that. And then, lastly, we went out there and gear up towards next camp season because a lot of things and stuff that we do, especially with these boys, not only the free training, the free tutoring, the mentorship, and all that good stuff, but we take them to colleges, we take them to those camps because that's one of the main reasons how you up there you get recruited. And when we go to these camps and things and stuff like that, man, these camps, yes, they cost a lot and stuff, man. But it's a necessary evil because that's how they get one-on-one time with the coaches that's going to recruit them. So those are the 3 main projects that we've have that's coming on down the line. And yeah, any and everything helps, man. Whether it be
Awesome.
monetary, whether it be gloves, cleats, you want protein powder, whatever it may be and stuff,
All
man.
right.
Like, yeah, we will take it all. We will utilize it all.
Cool. I love it. All right, Ray, thank you so much, man. It has been like my absolute pleasure to get to hear what you've got going on and hear your story and hear the phenomenal man that you've become since we were much younger men
Right,
when
right,
we first
right,
met.
man. Yeah, man. Hey, I
That's
appreciate
cool.
that, man. It's good hearing from you, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Mhm.
and we will definitely be checking up on you and have you on probably a couple months from now and just kind of see how things are going and make sure you keep us apprised of what you've got going on so we can get
Yes,
that word out.
definitely, man. Yeah, because I love to have one of my players and stuff too, man. Because those are the guys.
That would be cool.
Yeah, man. It's those guys, phenomenal personalities. I mean, these young men and young women, you just can't help but to fall in love with them, man. They've
Right.
been in positions that they grew up really quick, and you're motivated to say, "Oh man, I gotta help them out," you know.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah,
man,
that
I
would be
really
cool.
enjoyed this, man. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thank you again so much. All
Mhm.
right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining this special edition of the Kale Hauser Leadership Secrets podcast. I hope you found it as just eye-opening, inspirational, and amazing as I have. Make sure you listen to it again so you pick up on all the nuance and the nuggets that Ray has been dropping just for the last like 40 minutes, hour, however long we've been going. Feels like 5 minutes, but I think it's been longer than that. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and no matter where you are at in the world, have a fantastic afternoon. Bye.